neck is going to be fucking killing you for the
Why?
because it's so like awkward to have a conversation on this couch.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I got it so that when people aren't here, I could nap. So I don't have to worry about there being like, if I did accent chairs, I couldn't nap.
Yeah.
I got a nap.
Yeah, just fucking go on the floor, man.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today we're joined by Rob Costomiris.
Did you get it right?
You got it right.
Wow.
And we're so excited to have you all here in our low-budget podcast studio. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Even if
Okay.
I wasn't doing good, I'd be doing great.
I stole your
Bourbon makes it
catchphrase.
better.
What's that?
The bourbon makes it better.
The bourbon does make it better, assuming there's bourbon in my cup.
It's a secret. Well, to start, we're going to raise our glasses. Mike and I in our fancy crystal glasses because our faces are on the thing. And we're going to cheers, and we're going to say, L'chaim, how you doing?
Hi.
I get the red cup, though.
Special.
They take care of their guests here.
All right, Mike, do you want to lead us off?
Yeah. So where should we start this one off?
I don't know. What do you do for a living?
Take us way back to your background, where you started, how you got into the.
But
your
do it in
business.
90 seconds or less, because if you want to make clips out of this,
Like if you want this on social, it can't be 5 minutes. Unfortunately.
Is there going to be something where, like, an edit where it goes back, like I'm a kid and everything, or
Yeah,
not that
there's
far?
zero
back?
listen, you know a
editing,
guy who can do the editing, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's got to be cheap too.
I respect
Yeah,
that.
cheap.
Started off DJing. We can get
Wow.
into that. Wedding DJ.
Wait, what was your DJ name?
I did not have one. I was just Rob. It lets everybody down. Everybody. Even when I was DJing, let
No
everybody
wonder why
down.
you changed careers.
Yeah. No, I was booked a year and a half out before I quit.
Not
Yeah.
2 years, though.
Not 2 years, no. Then I needed to get a real job. So answered an ad for stockbroker trainee. Started off on Wall Street. Went from stockbroker to financial advisor. We owned a broker-dealer. Then I got a little bored with it, I guess you could say. And just for reference, for anybody who's saying, yeah, right, fully clean license. I was very successful. Had a lot of fun with it. I know there's people saying, yeah, right. I sent out a text to about 20 different people, said I'm looking to make a move. Mark, my now partner, said, I want you to come work with me. I said, you don't have enough going on there to afford me. After a couple lunches, true story, found out that he did. And here I am raising capital and running the equity divisions of Myome Equities, a distressed asset private equity firm.
And what do you do there?
I help raise assets, and what we do is we find properties all across the United States that are distressed, either financially or physically. We go in there, we fix them up, sell them off. In the meantime, we get people to invest with us to help us buy these properties and give them a nice little return for doing so.
Okay, thank you.
What's the average return for your clients?
So from the time that Mark started, he was giving out 38%. It was a little bit different of an investment than we're doing now.
Shit.
Yeah. But it was debt and equity. They had to take down the whole property. It was a lot more risky, so they're getting a lot more for what they're doing. The first year I was doing it was 20%. Now it's down to 17.5%.
Still great though.
Yeah. It is good. It is.
I mean, that's more than what if you were to sink your money in the money market, right? What do you get? 5%, 6%?
Yeah, which is a lot now.
Yeah, which is good, but it's not 17%. That's
No,
awesome.
It is not.
We got to get a third mic.
I love that you guys are saying that. Yeah, where is the third mic?
You
Did
gonna have
guys
another
lose
mic?
it?
So the problem with the mic is, as I mentioned to you earlier, Rob,
You didn't even catch that.
what did you say?
I said you have another mic.
This is the third podcast in a row someone made a mic reference, and I'm tired of it. The problem with the third mic is that these microphones were $30. The ring light was $40. This wall was expensive, but I use it for other things. This is the lowest budget podcast you've ever been on, Rob. So I'm going to ask you, 1 to 10, what are your impressions of our podcast studio?
First of all, have you seen my posts? They're just me holding my phone.
I have, and I enjoy them. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning.
You have a new iPhone, so that should help, right?
He was telling us off camera he just got a new iPhone.
Yes. What is it, the 14?
14 Pro Max Plus?
15,
Super?
Not the Max, the Pro. Yeah. 40 gigs, whatever.
How you down? 40 gigs, not even a gigabyte size. They sell it. Rob, tell me, what is your favorite part of your job?
It's talking to people. It's also the worst part of my job, talking to people.
I get it.
I think we're all in that same. I think we're all in that same spot.
But I love what I do. I love and I actually like real estate. When I first got into Wall Street, I actually had a client worth a lot of money. Said, "Kid, you got to get out of stocks. Real estate's where it's at." I think I called him an idiot. Managed his money. I now know why he said that to me. It's a lot more money to be made with the leveraging, and it's a lot easier to do it. It's black and white. Can I say that in this age?
Well, wait,
black
let
and
me
white?
think about
Is that
that
allowed?
You know, we talk about easier money, right? And it's funny because one of the things you asked me when you got here is you said, what kind of insurance do you sell? And I said, I do primarily P&C, but I should be getting into the life insurance game because there's so much more money there. Based on what I've gathered from you in the 10 minutes we've been talking, when it comes to you, it doesn't seem like it's all about money. You also want to enjoy what you do, right? And when we talk about the life insurance stuff, I don't necessarily love selling that. I'm good at it, but I love the P&C side of things. So with you, is it more that when you were on Wall Street, right? I'm sure there was a lot of money that you were making there, and maybe you're doing very well now, but I guess I associate the Wall Street image with you're making $1 gazillion, right? Was there a degree of I don't like what I'm doing that initially pushed you to end up where you are now?
Yes and no.
That was such a long question. Do your best.
No. It was good. It was good. There was. It would be like a Saturday afternoon. I'd be with my family. My kids were small, and I'd look at my phone if the market was down, mostly when it was down, and a specific client, not any one specific, but just somebody that I would look at my phone, I would just go, oh, Jesus Christ. Or there was a lot that was out of my control. I couldn't control, and I probably could have handled it better, but I wouldn't say I hated it. I did love it. I got a lot of stories from it, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I didn't hate it. And yeah, I did make a lot of money. It was fun. But yeah, it kind of ran its course. It wears thin. A lot of hours.
Yeah.
How many hours are we talking?
When
Versus now. Like
when I first started, I was working 7:30 to 9:30 at night. I would catch I was living in Jersey at the time with my father. I would catch the last train out to get home. So I had to leave at like 9:30. There was times I left the office at 12, 1, 2. So yeah, it was a lot of hours.
So I'm curious on one thing you just touched on there when the market was down, right? When you were in your last career. Obviously, all three of us are directly tied into the real estate market, right? 100%. Obviously, my job, your job, his job, we're all tied into the real estate market. What are your thoughts on where do you see the market going with everything kind of going on?
30 seconds or less.
So I don't think that the market is going to come down significantly. I think there's no inventory, and it's going to hold it up. It's just supply and demand. Of course, if something crazy happens, like some bombing or 9/11, of course it can come down. But I really don't see it coming down anytime soon. Maybe a little bit of a pullback, but not too much.
You know, it's funny. I've never gone on record sharing what I think is going to happen. Mike, I've told you my thoughts on this with the insurance industry. And, you know, the insurance industry is completely broken right now. Rob, I briefly mentioned ZT as we walked in, but like the market is so messed up in ways that some of the biggest insurance companies are pulling out of states. They're saying we're done writing until 2025 or something like that. You know, one of the biggest is Nationwide. You see on the wall behind them, we're one of their trusted brokers. And they're done writing until 2025, and they are one of the smallest carriers that have done it, right? And the reason that carriers are pulling out is because there are so many carriers that are trying to raise rates, but in order to raise rates, you have to file it with the state, and it's taking so long for the states to approve it. The carriers are just pulling out. But when these rates go through, and some of them have already gone through, you know, you're looking at 40 to 70 to 80% rate increases. Now, why do I think that ties directly to the real estate crash? I think that, well, I know that when you buy a house, you escrow your insurance, right? And the problem is that these lenders, it's very similar to 2008 in that they are doing it legally this time. They're forecasting deals for 1 to 2 years out, but they're not taking into account what's going to happen to their escrow account if their insurance goes up by X percentage. And that's happening right now. And people are seeing a 60% jump, a 70% jump on their homeowner's insurance. They're not going to be able to afford their monthly payment after their escrow analysis comes out. And I think that that's going to lead to somewhat of a collapse. But the problem is, Rob, I don't know if there's going to be a correction. I don't know. I would say that the market the last 3 or 4 years has defied everything that every industry leader has said was going to happen. There has been so many anomalies. This is unheard of what's going on. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that if there is a collapse, I'm shouting it from rooftop to clients on every single phone call. It's going to happen, and it's going to be tied to all of the people that are super over leveraged buying homes right now when their debt to incomes are so tight and they don't anticipate what's going to happen. And one last thing, Mike, it's because the rate of inflation is, 8%, but insurance has been going up at a 2% interval for X amount of time. And now when that, 15% hits on insurance to catch up, what's going to happen is there's going to be a correction, and now people's debt to income ratios disqualifies them, but they already own it, and they're going to be forced to sell. And that's what I think.
You're the second person to bring up the whole insurance thing, and I haven't even taken time to look into it yet.
I'm also an insurance guy.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So it does make sense. Plus, I mean, we're leaving out the fact that you would know more about this than I do. Is the whole 5% down now?
FHA loans? Yeah.
No, isn't it regular? It's traditional mortgage.
Yeah,
I thought,
traditional. Yep.
What's the difference between FHA and traditional, though?
Well, FHA is 3.5% down.
and it's government, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, it's sort of the same thing. You still have PMI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same shit.
But with less money down, if there is some sort of a correction, puts people in the red. So
And by the way, those are the people that are tight on their debt to income. That's why they're buying a house at X% because they can't afford to go 20%.
yeah, one thing that I think I've changed about myself was when I was in stocks. I was always like gung ho, and I'd always cheerlead stocks. I'm like, oh, it's going higher, and I'd never see anything. I've since changed that, and I start listening to different people, like you with the insurance, the 5% down, and everything. So whereas I think there may not be a correction, I'm open to listen to other things, and like now I have to do my research because now it's the second person. So it's definitely there's something to be said about that.
Dude, the market is...
I mean, my question to you would be this:
me?
You're talking about the people that are over leveraged, right? But what about the people that bought 2-3 years ago and the interest rate was 3%, and their monthly payment is almost dirt cheap compared to what they'd be paying for in rent? Those people are more than likely not over leveraged.
Well, I don't know that you can necessarily make that argument, though, right? Because I think that there's always
They're
going...
less likely, I should say.
I think there's always going to be over leveraging in the market, right? Out of 10 buyers, I'd say that, again, I'm not on the mortgage side of things, but I'd be likely to say that 50% of people, it takes strategic maneuvering to get them to closing because their debt to income ratio is close. Dude, student loans are a crazy thing these days. I have friends, one of my best friends, if I go too in detail, not that he's going to watch, but if I go too in detail,
Does anybody watch this?
he'll know who it's about. Dude, his girlfriend's paying $2,600 a month for student loans. But it's not that crazy because she's only got $200,000 of debt. And I don't say only in the sense that that's nothing. Dude, but that's so common. I'm a first generation college student, and like and I put myself through college. I have loans still and I killed it. I did great for myself. But the thing is, I was smart about the loans. I only took public loans that were fixed interest rates at 4%. Not great, but
Let me cut you off there.
Yeah.
So
I want to make sure we're still recording too. So keep going.
This happens often.
Yeah.
I've had several houses.
Oh, great, thank God.
Investment and homes, and I've had different mortgages and everything throughout. So this house that I live in now, I think it's like my 5th or 6th house. I don't know. I'm not bragging. It's just showing the experience.
Yeah.
When I got to closing, not closing, we were approved. Air quotes.
Yeah.
We were approved, and the broker goes, "Good guy. He's one of the best in the business." He goes, "Hey, have you thought about doing a 5-year ARM, 2016?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, not a shot. I go, I'm commission based. I go, my money's all over the place and I need some stability in my life. My mortgage payment is what it is. I put 35% down so that I had a low mortgage payment.
Wait, can I ask a question? An ARM would be basically, it's a 5-year loan, then it basically matures and you have to take a new loan or something, right?
Well, yes, but 5 years you're paying interest only. And then at 5 years, it goes up to whatever the interest rate is. So imagine what I'd be paying now. Right. Yeah, now, but he'd get further into it. My wife, during COVID, lost her job. She's a stay-at-home mom. My son has some special needs and everything, so it works out for us. Mm-hmm. Our income is nowhere near what it was, but it's it works for us right now, so it's all good. But imagine if I had to go for another mortgage, probably wouldn't work. So imagine I fell into that. Oh, it's only interest only. Right. It's great. I'll take it. So,
but that's the problem.
I'm agreeing
with a lot of America right now. Let's do as little as we can right now and feel it later. It's a buy now, worry about it later mentality. It's funny. I was talking.
Even with plane tickets right now.
I know. I hate that we have 3 mics because we're actually having great conversation between all 3 of us.
We could share it.
Yeah. Well, like honestly, we might have. No, but in all seriousness, no. Yeah, it's plane tickets too.
Plane tickets, anything. A pillow. You can finance a pillow.
Dude, Affirm. Have you heard of Affirm? Have you heard of Affirm? Yeah, they're like a big thing. Listen. It's funny. I was talking to my best friend the other day, Mike. I'm not that he's gonna fucking watch, but he doesn't even like any of my content, which is so crazy. He'll never see this clip. The crazy thing is he goes,
his name.
It's Kevin. The problem is, Kevin, he says to me, he says, Austin, we're talking about some situation he's got going on with some family members, and he says to me, yeah, he's trying to get a loan for one of his cousins who's basically from out of this country. She needs citizenship, and the only way for her to get citizenship is to essentially get a college loan.
Oh.
Right? Very crazy.
Buying real estate.
So, well, that works too. But the crazy thing was, she's young. She has to. So she just graduated college from Albania, just moved here. We're going completely on the record and telling this story, but but it is a very interesting story because what I said to him was, I said, okay, so like co-sign the loan. He goes, bro, I tried. He goes, bro, they declined me. I go, dude, what? I go, you make, mid six figures. Kid kills it, right? Only debt he has is student loans. He's got 18 grand left, and they declined him with a 790 credit score. Now, the problem is that now there's desperation because his cousin really wants citizenship. What are they willing to do to essentially get, the 60 grand? It's like, and by the way, if they got approved, the interest rate was 16%. And that was a Sally Mae loan.
Just run through Mexico. Just saying.
But isn't that like unbelievable though? Like that's the true problem that's going on, is that people are not reading the fine print of anything.
Wait,
right
did
now.
they take it?
No, they got declined.
Oh, that's right.
We're looking at a potential work visas. I might be hiring his cousin. I don't know, for a work visa. But the reality is that the biggest problem with America that could lead to a crash tied with insurance is that everybody is signing their name on dotted lines without getting educated on what it takes to actually deal with the consequences and or ramifications of whatever they're doing. And I don't know, long-winded, but I think that's the problem.
So I don't do mortgages, but I do know when people go for mortgages, the first question they ask you, and you probably know this better than I do, is how much are you willing to pay a month? And my thing to them is, what does that make a difference? Like,
Right.
what is how much I could pay a month? I go, I want to pay as little as possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to my max. Well, we need to know what you could afford. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't. Why don't we figure out what I get approved for, and then we could figure out my monthly payment, and then
Sort of like buying a car, how they like tailor it,
And I have the same problem when I go for, well, how much do you want to spend a month? I'm like, no. Why don't we figure out the car first, figure out a deal for me, and then I figure out if I could pay it. Don't worry about how much to pay, but that you are 100% dead on with way over leverage. So when I live in I'd like to say an affluent town.
Where do you live?
In Scarsdale.
Oh, a Scarsdale guy, very affluent town. We got a VIP.
When we first moved there, our kids were little, not even into schools yet. We go to people's houses, and they'd be in these $1 million houses. But the living room, the dining room, nothing had furniture. And I'd say, oh, how come, how long have you been here for? Oh, 6 years. We just haven't decided any furniture. Really? No furniture for 6 years? It's me and my wife. And the first thing they said was, oh, we overpaid for this house because we wanted to get into the town.
Dude, that's the craziest concept in the world.
That's what I said.
But, you look at a town like, it's funny. Mike, you can relate to this a lot. I'm hogging this mic today.
That's sweaty palms on that mic.
One of my friends, he just got married. He says to me, Austin, I want to buy a condo in Stanford. He said, sure. And that was when I was telling you about that I'm going to send to you. And he sends me a condo. Dude, $485,000. It's a condo in my fucking complex. I paid $188,000.
Oh.
It's like
485?
It's like a fucking, maybe it's 385, but it's for. Can you not? We're on air here, all right?
100K, jack it up.
But I like that you showed your industry knowledge there.
Yeah, 485. That's record breaking.
It is. But how crazy is it though? Like just in general, whether or not it was my complex, it was 485, 385. The values have soared so much, but they've soared to the point that are greater than the inflation rate has gone to, right? So people and their salaries are not increasing by the rate of which everything else is increasing, but people are like, I can still do this, but you can't, Hold on, don't answer. Now answer.
But the one thing that you're leaving out, the most important thing, is that somebody will always need a place to go home at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And the rent prices are outrageous. Have you looked at what the rents
Yeah,
are?
I'm not saying that renting is the concept either, though. I'm saying that.
Well, what's the other option?
Well, I don't know, Mike, and I think that's the biggest problem, right? And I don't know if that's like a government problem or something. Like I think that
you're saying that the government should be involved in helping people by real
No,
estate?
I don't. I'm very anti
Right,
that
I was
stuff.
gonna say,
I'm
that
very,
definitely
very
doesn't
you know
sound-
that about me.
Yeah.
I'm very anti that stuff, but also at the same token, like there needs to be a correction, dude, because there's also those people that are living in New York City, like all those guys I grew up with in Long Island are living in New York City, spending $3,200 a month, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing, right? So while I do agree that buying something at $485 right now is potentially a better move because when you're renting, you are paying 100% interest instead of 8% interest. And by the way, I think
you
they
could-
just approved higher rates today.
Yeah, they did.
8.6, right?
And the prices are going to continue to go up.
See, but like that's to tie it all
Okay.
together. What I think might not happen.
Okay, but even let's say it comes down, right? Let's play this out. Let's say it comes down. Let's just say hypothetically it comes down, right? In 5 years, it's going to go back up. In 10 years,
But don't you think it has to come down? Like, don't you think there has to be this?
I don't know. I don't.
No, because interest rates were at 0 for so long. The what was it? Mortgage rates were at 2%.
Yeah,
that is
free money.
unsustainable. And I know realtors
Yeah.
and mortgage
No, that's-
people were
that's-
Agreed,
loving
agreed.
it. Yeah. Right now, I mean, now it's a little bit higher, but we're right about a 30-year average for interest rates.
I know.
So it's not
It's
that
not
crazy.
crazy. No, it's not.
Coming off of 2%,
Right.
it's bonkers.
It looks worse.
Yeah.
You know, in retrospect, it's so crazy that we were actually at 2%.
So when I first got onto Wall Street, you know, when I was cold calling and everything, when you're cold calling, you're getting hung up on all the time.
I know, I
There's
did
nothing
it.
going on.
Make it-
So I'm listening
Make
to
sure the camera's
CNBC all the time. And the one thing that they were drilling in 2000 was Japan is at a 0% interest rate.
that's
They
crazy.
can't stay here. It's unsustainable. The country will go out of business. Fast forward, was it 15 years or so? The United States is there for what, 5-6
Yep.
years or whatever, and it's okay now that we're in it. It's the craziest thing to me that it's okay for us to be in it, and now that we're at a little bit higher, which is actually healthy. I know a lot of people won't like to hear that. It's healthy where we're at right now. You know, they're saying it's, you know, we can't do it. But here's another thing, and what you said is maybe investors won't do it. Maybe somebody like me, who I have a 3.9, which was high for the time, won't sell their house.
Won't pivot,
But
yeah.
first-time home buyers
Yep.
don't care what the interest rate is.
Yep.
So instead of buying that
Agreed.
$1 million house, they'll buy an $800,000
Yeah.
house. Instead of buying a $500,000, they'll buy $300,000.
Nah, but they won't though, and here's the problem, right? And Mike, cover your ears. These real estate agents are preaching the concept of, and Mike, I'll give you credit. You're not one of these real estate agents because you're actually a killer in the industry. But I
Don't
think that
buy. You're
but
right,
date the
don't
rate,
buy-
you know,
I
that's
don't
what is
agree
it?
with that.
Date the rate, buy the house, some
Yeah,
shit like that.
marry the house.
Marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah.
That's the problem, though, because all
don't
these
agree with
first-time home
that.
buyers are so blinded by what's going on. And Mike, you're a killer in the industry. You really are, and I commend you for not being one of those real estate agents. But I can't stand it because it's like these real estate agents are taking dirty tricks to essentially convince their buyers to buy properties at shit-ass interest rates. And listen, for me to say that, my entire business is real estate agents and mortgage brokers. But the biggest problem is, thank God nobody watches this. The biggest problem is that right there. You're convincing your client to take on an 8% interest rate. That's crazy, you know?
See, but
Hold on.
a good realtor is not a salesman. They're an advisor.
Yeah, but you know the real problem? There's more realtors than there are good realtors.
Well, there's too many realtors.
And that's what I said.
Right.
Yeah. And
No, I agree with that.
And,
yeah.
and they're trying to force I don't want to take yours, but they're trying to force the industry to shrink, and the same thing happened in insurance and mortgage. But there's a lot of realtors that got lucky the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And I understand that luck is created, but there's a lot of people that got so fucking lucky off Zillow leads and things like that because they just paid enough money to be great. And that's what it is. They paid enough money to be great. And now they're good. Like, they're good realtors. But they have the wrong principles that are potentially ruining this, you know? And I don't know. It's a hot take.
You know what's a hot take? That we need a damn third mic.
Yeah, but that's any business.
They
'cause
don't make them.
I come from Wall Street, and I got to tell you, 90% of advisors are morons. Like, don't
same
know
line.
anything. But that small percentage, I'm sure in the insurance
It is.
industry, is the same thing. They go for the low-hanging fruit, and that's it. When it gets a little bit tough, they just walk away, or they just, they won't take that sale.
You know, and it's funny you say that. Like, right now, I'm going through the most challenging time in my business I've ever experienced. I mean, before I started my company, I worked for a very big company, not going to say it on record, but I was a number nine agent in the country. I was writing $120,000 a month in premium. I was making like $600,000-700,000 a year. Like, I do.
Out of 10 people?
Yeah, something like that. But it was very crazy. And now here we are when I was writing $120,000 a month. I think I've written $7,000 this month. And the problem is there are more shady brokers out there right now than there are good brokers like me, right? And what they'll do is these people find me on Google because I have 400, 500 5-star reviews. And they'll basically say, hey, can you beat my rate? But the problem is their rate is already going up because of what's going on. And they have shit coverage. So now they come to me. I can't fix their situation. It's broken. They're in a bad situation. A bad broker put them in a bad position. And now I'm losing deals. So you talk about getting up and walking away. I'm in it, baby. I've mortgaged my life to be here. You know, I started my own company, but it's like, that's the killers, right? The three of us sit here having reached a good level of success in each of them. I would almost say the pinnacle, but I think the pinnacle is yet to come. And it's like, we're hoping in each of our industries that a good percentage of people walk away because it allows the killers to kill. And right now, we can't kill as effectively because there are so many pretenders, you know? And I think that that's something that's really going on that I hope gets corrected.
That was way more than 30 seconds, by the way.
I know, but it was almost so good.
Yeah. So one thing I will tell you is I've been through 2 bear markets on Wall Street, one of which I was sitting at my desk for 2007. Market comes down 1,000 points in one single day. It was the first at that time. I know right now it's not that crazy, but it was the most at that time. A gentleman behind me, I sat on the floor. He was in an office, and he came out. He's like, "Hey, Costomiris, what do you think we should do now? I got to call my clients. This is fucking crazy. I don't know what to do." I'm like, dude, don't do anything. And he's like, "What do you mean?" My partner at the time, we had a whole seminar series set up. It was going out 6 months, year. I don't know exactly how far it was going out, but he goes, "We have to cancel these seminars and we have to, just go back to cold calling and do what we do." I was like, I don't know. I just had a child, or I was having a child. I just bought my first apartment that I lived in. We had an investment property all within like the past year. Mm-hmm. I just looked over at him. I was like, no, we have to keep doing what we're doing. That year, I raised more money in that 1 year than I had done in my entire career, just because we steered the course and because it was the hardest time it was. People were coming to us because we were just what you were saying, or he was saying about you, being honest about what we're doing. We weren't scumming people over, and we were educating people in what we were doing. So tough times are what make people and keep people in business and help you thrive. So whatever you're going through now, just keep the storm going because it's always darkest before dawn.
Always.
I love saying that.
I think that's a clip right there.
Yeah,
I know,
it is.
that's a real. I think we should go rapid fire.
I was just about to say,
Yeah,
questions.
great minds.
You
think
got a
alike.
good one?
Yeah, you got a good one. I was gonna go the dinner one.
What was the dinner one?
The dinner one you always use.
Oh, no. So I
You
want
wanna use that
I want
midway
to. I want to tailor that question a
Okay.
little.
It's
Because
a good tailored question.
yeah,
Get tag teamed over here. It's nice.
how you doing? Thank God you weren't holding the mic. All right, Rob. Rapid fire. This is my favorite part of the podcast. This is when I realize we've talked for too long and it is time to wind down. But this is where we get to know people the best, baby. One dinner, one person, dead or alive.
He just took the one that I was gonna use.
Yeah, I said I liked it. I was going to tailor it.
No, you said I want to use that in the middle.
Oh,
That's
no.
terrible.
Hold on.
That's a terrible. No, you already asked the question.
You want to ask it? All right. Signed from Mike. One dinner, one person, one location. Where are you going?
It's definitely an Italian restaurant.
Which one?
25
You
North.
said I could drill you. Where?
Yeah. You can get me. There's a little place I used to go to when we were in the city. It was called Frank's Italian on the Lower East Side somewhere. I forget the exact address. If I look it up, I could find
Write
it.
that down. Write that
Frank's
down.
Italian. It's great. I don't even.
My phone's
fit.
recording everything.
It's so tiny. I can't even fit at the tables.
You're a
such
big guy. How tall are you?
Yeah, 6'5".
6'5".
And who am I taking? Does it have to be?
It's one dead, one alive.
Oh, one.
No, that's not what I said, but you could do
But
one.
that-
day
but
with
that's
that.
actually-
I like that
that's-
better. That's actually not how the question goes. Neither.
That-
I made it up myself.
Well, if you let me finish it, that's how.
So I got the one dead. That's my grandfather on my father's side.
Okay.
Because he was always into stocks, kind of got me into it. He was an electrical engineer, very smart dude. I never realized it. He died. I mean, I was 20 something, but I never really got to know him.
All right, let me ask you a follow-up. Would you take him at his dying age, or would you take him like when he was younger? And
No,
and
I
at his
would.
peak?
Yeah, I would take him at the die. I just never built that. I wasn't mature enough to have that relationship with him, and mind you, I was 25. So
I can relate to that.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
never
me
got
too.
to ask him those questions and everything. So he's the one person I would take. Alive. Ooh.
And you can choose us.
And you can't, and you can't choose your,
I'd have
your
to
family.
Say it was, no, it wasn't going to be family.
Your wife's watching. She's mad.
No.
She won't watch this either.
No.
No, we're gonna have 4 reviews. It's such great conversation for 4 reviews.
Roman tried to get me with that one too.
Oh, what a piece of shit! All right, we take it back. We don't want
Wait,
to
he asked you that same question?
No, he asked me my wedding date or how long I've been married. And I was off by like a month or something.
Oh,
and he's
she
like, "Your wife's
watched?
going to kill you." I go, "My wife doesn't even know our anniversary." So no, I won't. One person. I would have to say it would be like a Gary V. I'm a Jet fan.
Okay.
And I love what the
Go
guy
Jets,
does.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys suck.
Oh. You're a Cardinals fan, bro.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
am.
talk.
I mean, you're not worse off than we are.
No.
We're in a better position.
All right, Mike, you got another rapid fire? Or did I steal yours?
All right, so give us the Austin's a big calendar guy. You said you were too, right? Give us like the Rob daily routine, morning to night. Like, what's the successful routine?
Yeah. So I wake up 5 o'clock, sometimes 4:30, sometimes 4 o'clock. It's pretty detailed too. Get up, I put my AirPods in or whatever. I don't think I have
Right away.
AirPods in it. Yeah. I
Like,
put.
no water, no nothing.
you brush your teeth?
Oh well, no, there was a bathroom visit in there, but
You said it's detailed.
I just didn't want it to go to the bathroom. I come out, I put my headphones on, and I start listening to these binaural beats, different frequencies, just to get my mind in play.
Wow.
Make coffee, put my workout in order. I lay down, I meditate, I stretch, I work out, have my coffee, get in the shower, take my daughter to school, go to work. And then my day's all over the place.
in the office.
8:30ish, depending on what time my daughter wants to get to school, but
Right.
somewhere around there. Usually in the office, depending on what I have going on that night, but till like 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock. And then if I have something afterwards, like a networking event or something, I usually don't get home till like 10 for that. But if I'm not, I'm home by 7, 8 o'clock at night.
What time do you usually go to bed?
9 o'clock, unless I have a
Wow.
networking
What
event.
if the Jets are on?
9 o'clock.
They're not going to win.
Yeah.
All right. Last and final question.
Well, why do you get the last one?
Do you want it?
No, that's okay.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
I did technically steal the first one. All right, we'll do one more after this. If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would do besides calling your lawyer, besides helping your family? Don't tell me buying real estate. Like, what's the first fun thing you'd do?
Yeah, I would get really drunk.
Okay, what would you drink? What would you drink?
It would definitely be a combination of a lot of stuff. I'd
You
probably
just
start
want to have
off
the
with
worst
beer.
hangover ever?
Huh?
You want the worst hangover ever?
Yeah, whatever. I
You
don't
have like
care.
shit to do the next day. You got to meet with your lawyer and stuff.
That could wait.
All right,
I would
so
actually call them while I was drinking. I wouldn't care.
who gives a fuck? You're the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
All right, so beer. Okay, and then one more follow up.
Probably start with beer and segue into whiskey.
Well, beer before liquor. You've never been sicker.
You forgot the most important part. What's that? You gotta cash the check.
Yeah, I agree.
You could put that off. That's
I agree. You can just take on the debt.
you could
What's 22% if you're a billionaire? All right, Mike, you want to take us home with one final question?
Did you finish it? That's
Yeah,
it?
no.
He
I
said he
said
could-
before you do it.
Shitty answer. He said he gets drunk.
No, I mean,
You know, to be honest with you, I'd get really drunk
would get
too.
a bunch
I'd get
of-
drunk if I don't win the lottery.
by
You want to get
myself.
drunk right now?
it would be with everybody. I'd invite everybody up and come over. I just won the lottery.
And then we all kill you if you win the lottery.
That's way too risky. Way too risky.
All right, I'm taking us home.
Take it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. Today we were joined by Robert Costomiris from Myome Capital. Myome Capital. And it was a pleasure. For all 4 of you that are watching, we say thank you.
Love you all.
Thanks for having me, guys.
L'chaim.
Appreciate it.
Good job, bro. That was good. Yeah, that was fun. That was good. How long was that? 32.